Hello, this is Thumbs United. Gonna continue our work on this medium format or 80mm film editing. This is the photo where we left off, and let's get into it. So here we go. I'm going to leave it in this view because then you guys can see my navigator. There's a huge line. And I don't know what it is. I don't think it's supposed to be there. So we'll get rid of it. Missed it completely. In the past 2 days, I wanted to stream yesterday, but I just ran out of time. My mistake, not really a mistake, I had a lot to do, but I think it ended up being 6 hours working outside and just doing gardening and everything. And then I came in and I was like, I really have to get ahead with my programming class. And so I sat down, learned the 3rd chapter, and then did the homework. So I completed it all in about an hour and a half. So by that time it was 8 p.m. And then I had to watch my grandmother and the dogs. So by that time it was like 11:45. No, 10:45, and then I was going to stream, but I was just exhausted. I was like, I can't do it. I thought that I could stream till 12, but I was exhausted. So that didn't happen. And it's nice getting a lot of work done. The combination of like extra sun and it is a workout, so I feel a little bit better. Tired, but I've noticed my mood has improved. I really don't know what this streak is. And then the next project I'm going to be working on, the New York project. It's coming along. The conversion for some of the video it's taking longer than I thought, and then I have to reconvert it, so it's doing that. I tried to encode to ProRes, and it worked, encoding to ProRes, but it file size is just too big, and I keep like setting the limits, so it's like 80 megabits and then a minimum rate of like 50, but it just does like maximum quality, so it's always outputting like 250 megabits, and it's like that's not what I want. I still want some compression. So then I had to switch the codecs. So now I'm doing a really high H.264 encoding where it is 80 megabits per second, and then I think it's either 50 or 40 minimum megabits per second. So that's a very not compressed image. The opposite of compressed. A very lossless image. But it should save on the space. Make this bigger so you people can see. What do you mean, you people? And here's another streak. I'll fix that eventually. This is going to be a short stream. I want to just stream like really long. We usually average about an hour and a half to 2 hours. But today I wanted to go to I wanted to try to get like 3 or 4 hours. Because I want to get this project done. I'm creating a whole bunch of booklets. And so one of the booklets I want to create is the photographs. These photographs from Italy that were shot on film as its own booklet. I'm about halfway done. I do want to pick up the pace a little bit. I got a lot of new lawn equipment. I got a leaf blower. And oh my goodness, it is so wonderful. It's gas powered. The one I had before was electric. And it's like, one, it's nice because I can actually go to the places where I need to blow leaves. The electric blower was very limited in where I could go, because I had to be plugged in, didn't have a battery or anything. So I spent like an hour just going through it, collecting essentially grass clippings and other things. It was just so much faster than raking and everything. And I was like, it's nice because I'm doing so much more work, and it's like going so much farther because I have better tools. Where before it was like, it would take me like 4 days to do what I did today in an hour and a half. And I'd be exhausted, like so sore. So I'm really looking forward to fall, because it's like, ha ha ha. Now I'll be able to, beat the leaves that fall. Because there's a ton of trees where I live. Like once fall comes around, there's about maybe 30 to 40 bags, lawn bags a week worth of leaves I have to take out to the street. And then, not yesterday, but the day before, for a while I've been thinking about this project I wanted to do, where I wanted to build a Steadicam. But originally I was going to build the kind of the gimbal. What a Steadicam is, it uses weights. So it's like a pole, and at the bottom end of the pole there's a weight, and then at the top of the pole you put your camera, and then close to the top, under the camera, you have this gimbal system, and it lets the camera, if you tilt left, the camera stays up because the weight is pulling it up. So it gets rid of like shake and motion. So it makes your images really stable, and so you use it for like long walking shots, or just it allows you to move the camera without getting like your foot, kind of the foot, the walking shakes or anything. And so the day before yesterday, I don't know why, I just had this really big burst of energy. I was out working for like 6 hours, and then I came back to the garage and I was like, I'm going to build it. So originally I was going to build it out of wood and everything, but I took the PVC I had from 2 different camera mounts I made, and I just kind of took them apart, and I made the gimbal part because that was the hardest part. And so then I made the Steadicam part, and then I mounted it to a shoulder mount. So the shoulder mount lets me not have to worry about the weight of the Steadicam, because instead my shoulders are carrying it and not my hands, and so then my hand just holds the camera, and the Steadicam system just kind of levels everything out. And so I just hold the base pole. And so then yesterday I'm gonna save because it's acting suspicious. And so what is the word? I did a lot of test shots, so I shot in 4K, and 4K at 30 frames per second. Then I went down to 2.7K at 60 frames per second, and then I went to HD at 120 frames per second, and then I kind of compiled all the footage, and then I did a test viewing. And so each video clip was about 5 minutes, and it was interesting. The one that looked, it depends what you're looking for, but in terms of image quality, the 2.7K at 60 frames per second looked the best, but not playing back at 60 frames. If you take the 60 frames and then slow it down to 30 frames, it becomes double the size. So instead of being a 5-minute video, it ended up being a 10-minute video because the whole thing's in slow motion, but it's only half speed. So it's not enough slow motion to say, oh, this is too slow. But so in the slow mo, the image quality looked good, but there was still some motion issues, and some of that was because I'm still learning how to use the Steadicam with the shoulder mount. And so after yesterday, I had a lot more practice, and so now I know how to get even less shaky shots. But so if there was like a bump on the grass or something, it would show up in the kind of shake the camera a little bit. So it wasn't that bad at 60 frames per second. But the one that the motion looked the best was the 1080p at 120 frames per second. Once that video was slowed down to 30 frames per second, so that's 4 times slower than real time. Then that one, it looked like you're just floating on a cloud. Everything was really smooth, but it was also too slow. And I mean, it wasn't like too slow, but it was just like, but it did look really smooth. So I'm wrestling with it. I'm gonna play with the camera settings to see if I can get the HD version to look better. There was just some sharpness issues where it looked like the HD just didn't look the best, which is why I really want the 2.7K, even though it's at 60. I wrote a program that does kind of frame modulation. So it will take, and it's the same one I use for live to tape, but it will take a video, and then you can say, okay, make it, do it slow-mo. So if you take a video that's 30 frames per second, it will convert it to 60 frames per second. And then what it does is it adds a frame in between each frame, which is actually a blend of, so you'd have, frame 1 and then frame 2. So then what the program does, it makes frame 1 and then frame 1.5, which is half the image of 1 and half the image of 2. So it adds kind of like a cross dissolve frame, and that makes that's what makes the slow-mo. So it doubles the frame rate. It can do triple or quadruple the frame rate, but it just makes the motion slower and less stroby than if you just kind of said, play, frame 1 for 2 frames and frame 2 for, another 2 frames. It just adds smoothness to slowing down an image that's not in slow-mo. So that's one option I can do for the 2.7K. And then, so I'm going to play around with that and test it. Computer's getting really slow. I don't know why. I don't have that much open. And according to OBS, I'm only at 25%. I have a text answer. Hold on. was talking to my cousin. So I'm gonna restart Photoshop after this, because this is getting a little ridiculous. Ridiculous. You know, I'm gonna restart Photoshop now, actually. Save. And, hold on. And I'm going to set the priority to high. Okay. So that's back. Hopefully it works better. Seems faster. For now. So where was I? I was like right here. Got a lot of specs. Yesterday I was looking at graphics cards, and mine's like really old. It's an HD series. It's like 6800 something. I think it's 6870. And I pretty much buy a graphics card at the like $150 price point. So I found this one, and I was getting good reviews, and I was like, wow, I've been missing out, you know. And supposedly it does GTA 5 at like 90 frames. I was like, wow, because like currently I get it at like 30 frames. And I'm not sure, I don't remember. It might have. There were a couple other games that I was like, it's getting 120 frames and everything. So I was like, oh man, that would be nice. So maybe in a month or two I'll get it. But there's like a whole list of things I need to save up for. I already need a new hard drive. Not that the other one died or anything, it's just I need space to like actually store footage. And the hard drive I just got was a hard drive for video editing and everything. So you should never store your original footage on the same hard drive you edit videos on, because the editing hard drive is just worked so much more that it's more likely to fail. And if you do like a lot of video editing like I do, like it will fail. Like my hard drives have a shelf life of like 3 years, and then it's like guaranteed they won't work anymore. But then I have a different set of drives, which I rarely use, and that has the original footage. Do. Okay, we're almost done. Just doing the last row. Do. And so then tonight I'm trying to write a program a day. And that was kind of the thing I was gonna tell you people. Let's see, what is this? This is image 212. This next one's okay. It's not a great image. But here we go. It's shaky. A little blurry. Oh. But so I'm in the third week of the class, and so I was working on the third program, and I did everything. It took only like an hour and a half to learn the chapter, and then to kind of write the program from scratch. I was like, what? The second homework, so much harder, and that took me 3 days. I had to learn it the first 2 days, then it took me another day to write, and I was like, I'm behind schedule. And so originally I wasn't going to program on the weekends, but now I'm going to. After today, if I finish the fourth week of programming, then I'll be halfway done. And so I should be done with all the homework, hopefully by next Friday. And that gives me an extra couple of days if like one program takes a long time. And then after next Friday, I just work on the final project. And I should be done. The last day of class is the 20th. And then I'll have my degree. My degree in application development. And I'm really looking forward to getting it. Because then it's just like it's something. It's a huge thing that's I don't have to worry about anymore. Because like even when I wasn't going to school, I was like, oh, I have to go back. I need to finish the degree. Blah, blah. It was just a huge stressor. And so it will be nice to have that, completely out of the way. And then I get to stress about other things. But it won't be school. And so I'm already lining up video projects to do over the summer and the end of spring and summer. And I'm going to try to start doing some of them even though I'm still in the class. But it's just going to be light. Like I'll go out filming maybe two or three times a week. But then, once I'm done with the class, I'll try to do it like every day. So I think the teacher just made like that second week's homework as difficult as possible so that everyone who needs to drop the class knows they need to drop the class. There's no reason that second homework had to be so much harder than everything else. And it wasn't like hard, it was just like it took up so much time. And like the teacher knew it because we had 2 weeks to do it instead of 1. Okay, I'm going to take a short break. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I almost started working without changing the slideshow. I should have restarted Photoshop. It's having issues again. And it's the 64-bit. So I don't know what the problem is. It might be my graphics card settings, because I've been downloading some games on Steam and I switched the settings. So the next stream I'll switch them back. I'm not going to switch the settings out live. That is a recipe for disaster. I'm going to restart now. Hold on. Hold on. Do. Okay, it's back. Please be working. So yeah, it's working faster. I told my cousin I was graduating, and she's already asking what my next steps are. I was like, no, no next steps, that's it. What? Do. It's funny because usually the darker the image, the less spots you have to fix, but there's a ton I have to fix here. It's just these light speckles. Of course they couldn't show up on like a brighter image, because then they wouldn't be, so easy to see. Do. I don't know why I did went down there. I usually just go straight across. you can see it's kind of, there's a little bit of motion blur. Just enough to make it look like it's out of focus. Oh, and then I figured out the issue I had with VLC. It was kind of similar to the problem I had with Photoshop, where for whatever reason, like I went to their website and they were like, here you go, here's your, your installer package. So I just, installed it and it was fine. Turned out it was the 32-bit version, and I was like, what? So I went hunting around for my computer because I thought, oh, maybe it, installed, a 32 and a 64 gigabyte, and it's like, nope, it was just 32. So I went back and I installed the 64-bit. Huge difference. And before with the 32-bit, I was trying everything. What's nice about VLC is you can get it to use different APIs for the graphics card. So you can do like OpenGL, or you can do DirectX 9 or DirectX 10 or DirectDraw. And I tried all of them, and so for the 32-bit version, the best one was OpenGL. And but for the 64-bit, the DirectX 11 seems to work the best. Like, it can play natively the 2.7K at 60 frames per second. So that was nice. And it does play 4K natively. At 30 frames per second, there were no drop frames or anything. So that was cool, and it was like, oh, so much less of a headache. So that will make recording the Let's Plays on Tuesdays so much easier. Save. I'm doing a lot of work. Oh no. Let's see. What do I want to do? I want to see if there's a way to. I don't think there is. Okay, no spots there. I don't know, it just does that every once in a while. And that's like a memory problem. So we're about 2/3 of the way done. I've been streaming for 55 minutes, so not too bad. This was supposed to be a short stream. I'm happy we got to 50 minutes at least. I'm supposed to be going later tonight, so I'm waiting. My sister has the car, so when she brings it back, then I leave. But it takes her a long time to come from her social engagements. Do. So almost done. I'm just gonna go across here. After going across this time, there will be one more time when I just go across the bottom, and we will be done with this image, and I'll start the next one. And these are really high res images. All these medium format images were scanned in at 70 megapixels, and there could be, the megapixels could be higher. You could easily get 100 megapixel scan of each frame, and there'd still be like more quality you could juice out of it, which is why I like working with film. I like all aspects of working with film. Taking the photos and developing it in the darkroom, doing the prints from the darkroom. It's a lot of fun. I mean, digital's okay, but film is where the party's at. It's just too expensive. That's the main problem with film. So here's the slightly blurry. This is in Italy. This is in Venice. I believe this is one of the museum's buildings. I don't remember the name. So now we go to the next one. I'm just checking the numbers. Oh, you know what? I'm going to restart Photoshop. So hold on. It'll just be a second. Okay, I have it up, and I'm going to, it's loading a little bit. Okay, so this is the next image. It's also a night shot, also in Florence, Italy. And we're just gonna start editing. Work our way from the top all the way down. And this seems to be a really clean image, which is good. I mean, working on it is fast. do. It's funny, like my dog never. We just got this leaf blower, and my dog, I guess, has never seen a leaf blower. It's just like a backpack with the nozzle, and so when I was walking down the driveway, she would like run to greet me, but then she was like, I'm not sure. She didn't care about the backpack. It was the leaf blower nozzle. She was just like, I'm not sure about you with that. But she was like, oh, but I want to say hi to you. And so she'd run towards me and then like look at it and then take off like a bullet, then run back up to see me. And I was like, it's okay. The leaf blower wasn't on or anything. I was just walking to put it away. And so it was funny because she'd like creep towards me a little bit, then jump back. And I was like, of all the things to be, concerned about, she probably is afraid of it because it's like, it looks kind of like the vacuum. And she does not trust vacuum cleaners. Yeah, we're halfway done with this image. That red box is where I'm editing. And so what that red box is I'm the enlarged area. And so the pixels are 1:1. So that box is about 1080p. So the whole rest of the image is a huge image file. Again, there's a little bit of motion blur. It's really difficult taking these photographs at night because some of the film I was shooting with was like, I would either shoot in ISO 50, 100, or 400 ISO. And what's really nice about the 50 is that the film grain is so much denser that it's even higher quality. That's one of the nice things about film, is that if you shoot at like an ISO 50, it's like if you took your digital camera and were able to say, okay, for this image, I want to use a sensor that's 50 megapixels, even though your camera is like only 10 megapixels. You can't really do that with digital, but with film you can. But the downside is that with an ISO of 50, it's less sensitive to light. So you have to take, the pictures take twice as long to take essentially. The shutter speed has to be dropped in half. Hold that. Okay. I was texting back. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's not rude on purpose, but it is a little bit. I told my cousin this was my last class and I'll be graduating. So then she's asking, oh, what are your plans after you graduate? It's just like, I'm a photographer. That's my plan. But I don't know, it's just kind of looked down upon, like, oh, you're going to do that for the rest of your life? If things go well, then yes. Hopefully. But I am planning on diversifying a little bit. I'm going to start doing more portraits. And hopefully I get paid to do the portraits. Because landscape photography and cityscape is extremely difficult. It's very difficult to motivate, somebody to pay for like a picture of a mountain or anything. People like to look at it, but it's not as easy as, taking a picture of someone and then, you take the picture of someone and that's the target audience right there. And then, people will pay for pictures of themselves or for others. It's just more of like an emotional connection. Not that people aren't emotionally connected to mountains or nature, things like that. But it's different. Most people don't say, I want a picture of Denali National Park a second. But yeah, and so I'm also going to try to get into more art galleries, hopefully. That works out. But really, I'm going to try to shoot more people, take more pictures of people, and maybe do event photography, which I'm really good at. I did it forever in the past. I thought we were so close to being done with this image. And it's really dirty on the bottom. So this was a fast image, even with all the stuff on the bottom. It's only been like 12 minutes working on this image. So that's pretty fast. And Photoshop's beginning to lagging a little bit, but I'm almost done, so I have a chance to restart it. I just want to be done with this image. And so I'll probably do a creative stream tomorrow as well. Again, doing essentially this, doing the film restoration. Part of getting in the art galleries, one of the projects I want to have available to show, both to the art galleries. Not really like a portfolio, but I'm working on these like little booklets. And so I want to get those done, in addition to the Master of Art Collector's Edition. And so I'm really happy. Well, first part's not happy about, but the Smug Mug, which is a hosting service I use for the store, the price went up, and I was like, what? And they didn't tell me until like a month before the annual rate. I was like, seriously? But I mean, it wasn't. It was like $25 extra. But still, wasn't very nice. I still recommend them. But one of the things they added was that they have like this, I forgot what they called it, but it's like rewards or essentially they're like coupons to other services. And so there's a coupon I want to use for printing my books. It's 30% off your entire order. I was like, this is fantastic. Because I use the one I use to print my books is called Blurb. And I use InDesign and design my book by myself, and then I upload it to Blurb, and then they print it. And I'm really happy with the quality and everything. And they always have sales, so you have to always watch out. But for whatever reason, I don't have anything ready to print during their sales, so I miss out. And so with the Smug Mug rewards, it's nice because I can use that coupon whenever I want. It's 30% off. So I'm trying to get like everything that I want, printed all at once. And then what's nice about Blurb is, like if you're printing several copies, the price goes down. So like after 10, there's like 10% off. If you buy like 20, then it's like 20% off. I mean, don't quote me on those prices, but it's significant. Okay, so that's the image. Save it. Can't believe I didn't save. And I'm going to quit Photoshop and restart it. And then we will start the next one. It's gonna be a little slower. I accidentally opened the wrong Photoshop. I don't know why it always wants to open the 32-bit. It assumes wrong. It's thinking. Thinking. I don't know why it's thinking so much. Still the wrong Photoshop. Okay, here we go. This is the next image. This was in one of the cathedrals in Rome. And it was also at night, so it was really dark. I took this on a tripod, and what happened was I didn't shoot through all my rolls of film, all my frames, and it was like ISO 100, which is not what you want for night photography. You want 400. So I had to do like an extra long exposure. But it looks like it came out right. Just going through. You know, I might be able to do one more photo after this. This one looks really, really clean. Oh my goodness. This music has to change. You can go back to some techno music. I've been streaming for longer than I thought. Oh my goodness, I almost skipped over this. Okay, so this image is done. That's it. Okay, and then this image is in Florence, Italy. I'm just gonna start working on it. And this will probably be the last image of the day, and then after this, I'm gonna start the produce content, instead of the videos that were, shot in real life and edited and everything like that. And that's gonna be streaming next. So it's gonna be a rerun in quotes, but it's all like edited video and everything. And so first, what's gonna stream is the Sleeping Spring series. So that's the nature in Flint, Michigan, then Kersley Park, and then downtown Flint. That will all be streaming. And then after that, it's gonna be, I believe it's gonna be live to tape content. So that's story time, which is the scenic drive time-lapse photography while driving through America. And so there's a lot of scenic landscapes and traveling through it. And then after that, it's Project Newfoundland from Flotations, which is an indie documentary I created about the journey of going through Canada with the destination of Newfoundland. And so episodes 1 through 3 will be streaming. Episode 4 of Project Newfoundland is actually up on Patreon, and if you're a Patreon supporter, that's going to be exclusive on Patreon for 1 more month before it comes public to YouTube. So it will be a timed exclusive for 2 months instead of the usual 1 month. And then right now with live to tape, episode 7 is only on Twitch, but Monday the 2D version will be coming to YouTube, and then the 3D version and then the VR version will be coming to YouTube. So it is a little behind schedule in terms of coming out to the public. It's up on Patreon, everything, all the VR and 3D. But I just felt like it should wait a little bit before going to being public. Okay, so I have to end this early. Some suspiciousness is going on, but I have to go babysit my dogs and my grandmother. So we'll pick this up tomorrow, starting with this image. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day off, so I should be streaming in the morning, like 11 or 10. I'm gonna try to sleep in. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll start that vodcast /rewind /produce content stuff. So bye bye.